Hello and welcome back. We're going to have a swift look over this saddle tank this week. So this is R.153. This is an acetate variant. These were available between sort of 1956 and 1962. There's a couple of clockwork variants available throughout the time if you have a quick look at the insert pictures there. But this is quite a lovely item, so we'll get that on the rail. So no paperwork with this, you just see it in the box as it is, a bit of tissue underneath it there. So we'll come back to that in a minute. We'll get it out of the box and on the rolling road. So I've just got the CoBo running in the background here, if we just sort of pan around there. So that's charging around the railway with a set of tin plate coaches. Let's just see if we can follow that around the once. You can see we've got the uncoupling rails installed there in the bottom left of shot, so I cleaned those up this week and got them installed. And I had a little bit of a play with some track and got a rough idea of what I'll do with the elevated section, or planning to have a go at doing with the elevated section, but we'll look more at that a bit later on perhaps. Let's see if we can catch that coming through the station. They make a lovely noise, these tin plate coaches with the metal wheels on the track. Let's see if we can just come around the other side. So I've got some R10 open wagons or goods trucks there with an old R16 brake van. They're all quite early with Mark II couplings, and I think they're all acetate, but we'll have a quick look over those. They're unboxed ones. They're all sort of unboxed, as I was just trying to say there. But again, we've got the CoBo just coming in. It's just now going to come in underneath me. So we'll see if we can catch that coming through the station there. There we go. Off it goes into the distance. And you can see one of those spans there. It's just going underneath. So I've been having a fiddle with those, and I've printed a few extra pieces, which I'm going to have a fiddle with in the next couple of weeks and see what I can make work. So when I've got a sort of bit of a better idea of how I'm going to do that, I'll start to show some imagery of how that's going to happen. Let's see if we can get this coming around here. And away it goes. Yeah, so we can have a quick look at some of the parts I've been printing here. So I've got them sort of all been sort of bonded together at the moment. Bits come off in individual parts to make up the spans. So let's just have a swing round here. Excuse the hoover. Got a couple of pieces there that have come off the printer this afternoon. And one still cooling down on the print bed there. But we'll have more of that in the coming weeks, I imagine. What I'm going to do is sort of try and get control over this CoBo now. Excuse the mess of wires on the floor. We'll grab the controller. So we'll just catch that and see if we can get that to come into the station. So around that comes. I'll take a little power out of that now. There we go. So we'll just pop the handset down for now. So we'll just leave it there for future use, so I don't sort of trip over it. So we'll just come back over here to the saddle tank. So I'll just get this out of the box. And we'll get that on the rolling road, and we'll just have a swift look over it. So there she is on the rolling road. We'll just dial in a little bit of power there. Lovely thing with those solid wheels. And then let's just reverse the direction there. There we go. Perhaps a little more power. then one more time in the other direction there, and I think we'll just take the top off and have a look inside. Slight hesitation there with the change of direction. I think we'll just try that one more time. Yeah, I think this is going to be lovely once it's had a little drop of oil. It's just sounding possibly just a little bit dry, and then we go the other direction again. So with the top off, it's much less echoey, isn't it? So you can see the motor sits the reverse way around, so the back end of the motor sits towards the front of the locomotive. So we'll just give that a tiny bit more power. Let's reverse the direction there and see how we do. And again, a tiny bit more power. A lot more power. And then we'll just begin to take that out again. And I think we'll have a swift look over the bodywork as well. If you look along the top edge of that boiler there, you can see the sort of distortion, a sort of a hump has developed in it. I think that there's quite a few areas when you look down, when you look along the model, lovely and shiny as well, isn't it? That slightly bluey black. You can see there some pinching going along down the length of it. So it is made up in two parts, the bodywork. If I can find, I've got a broken one. If I can find the bodywork, I'll put a drop-in picture there in the corner of the screen. We've got a couple of separately fitted safety valves there. I think the cab windows on the back there, the control rods were utilised on the clockwork variants there. So so I think that large tank there would have accommodated a great big clockwork motor. We have a look down here. We've got Triang's name. I think we're the wrong way up on that. Let me just change that around and see if we can grab some focus on there. So we've got Made in England, and then on that lower edge by my thumb there, we have Triang, and we've got R51 and R.153. I think 151 is the original clockwork model. I think the slightly later clockwork model had a different number which escapes me now. I'll stick that in the corner of the screen. So buffer beam's just painted up in red. Nice hole in the back of the coal bunker there for the securing screw. See somebody's had the screw in and out of there multiple times by the looks of it. Let's just have a swift look around the smoke box door there, and you can see there's two little holes at the front there where which secure the chassis secures into there to hold it together along with that screw at the back. So I think if we just pop that down before we drop it, we'll have a quick look over the chassis. The chassis I don't think is as original as I had thought it was. So I'm looking at the motor thinking that possibly this is a later motor that has been put into it. But I think that's how it came to me. I don't remember changing the motor over in that. I think this arrangement here seems a little bit more up to date than the sort of early 60s, late 50s. But nevertheless, it's quite a lovely smooth running thing. There's beautiful solid wheels. It's quite interesting. It's got a double set of holes, so that collection plate could be used either way around, or perhaps collection wipers on both sides maybe. Could be an interesting idea. So let's just have a swift look down that side of it. They will turn that around. Looking at that upside down. Nice brass worm, and that little spacer part there for the securing screw to go in. But I'll give that a little bit of a clean, a light oil, and then we'll get that on the rails. And I've got to clean up those wagons as well. So this has been Saturday evening now. We'll hopefully get this up and running tomorrow afternoon. So here we go, following day. We've got this on the rails. We do have the wagons all cleaned up. They're sitting in the sidings behind me. So we'll just give this a little bit of power. And we'll see if we can just to follow this around. We'll just stop there. that mess reminds me. So I did get another 3D print done yesterday after the one that was cooling on the bed, but then I made another one, and this happened. So it occasionally happens. I thought it had taken to the bed, but when I nipped off to make a cup of tea and came back again, that had happened. So we'll get back on with some of those later in the day, but I've just left that sort of as it is at the moment. So I got 4 of those sort of spans of 2 short ones and two long ones made up yesterday afternoon, and then events of the day sort of took over. But yeah, so that's a little bit of a mess, a bird's nest. So let's give that a little bit more power. Got quite a few things sitting on the railway now. There's those wagons. So let's give that a run the other way around now. So let's just give that some power backwards. Let's see if we can just get a different angle of that going around the railway. Quite a smooth runner. And we'll see if we can just bring this to a stop just before the point work here. There we go. So let me pop the controls down. It's just getting a little bit tighter, and have a quick look at that. Perhaps not the best place there. We've got quite a lot of light coming in through the window. That is rather backlit there. It looks quite nice backlit there with the Britannia sitting in the background. So I just need to switch a couple of sets of points, I think. Oh, just one set of points, so just that one. So I'll just reach behind me and try and leave that pointed in the right direction. There we go. So that should now run round here. Through there. I think we're all set good, and we'll just pick up this short rake of wagons that we've chosen to use today. But I think at this point, just have a quick look at the footage I shot yesterday over the wagons, so you can see them just a little bit more closely. So I've got the 3 R10 open wagons or goods trucks here. So this was quite an early one. It's got closed axle boxes, sort of metal chassis stuck together in 2 halves, I believe. And the wheels are really are crude. I'll get the words out there. You can see triang, although I have got that the wrong way up. Let's see if we can get that way around. Triang, that made in England. See if we can get some reflection on there. So wheels aren't too bad. I've an idea. I've had these running before. I'm just going to give them a light clean with the cotton bud. I don't think I'm going to dismantle anything. And just a drop of oil, just to encourage a little bit of smoother running. So there's a little distortion in them. I think all of these models suffer from some distortion. So I'm thinking probably acetate. So Pat Hammond's book indicates that these type of wagons were made between 1949 and right up into the 70s, so early 70s. I think the basic concept of this wagon, although the chassis would have changed somewhat by there. I think we do have plank detail down there, so I quite like that colour, very muted green. So we've got one in white. So I don't think they had any on them. I think there were other branding, also other railway names on, and no names, a variety of different numbers on the wagons and sizes of printing and so on. Again, you can see quite a significant distortion in that. This one has open axle boxes, but the axles are just cropped straight off. Again, I have a feeling I've run this one, and it's reasonably free running. Just needs a little bit of a light oil, just going over with a cotton bud on those wheels. I think we'll get these running quite nicely. A little bit mucky and dusty on the inside there. So let's pop that one down, and we'll have a look at this maroon one. we go. There we go. The focus has caught up again. Open axle boxes. It suffers that same distortion there. So I wonder whether these ones are all acetate or whether it's just a polystyrene one and it's just taken on a distortion. Whether that's a stress in the plastic maybe. So again, planking detail in there. Wheels in reasonably good shape. So these are just going to need a little bit of a light clean, and they should run as smooth as they're ever going to run. They're never going to be terribly smooth, and they're going to make a lovely racket on the railway. So just pop that one down, and we'll just grab hold of this quite early R16 brake van. So I think these are, again, from early 50s through to late 60s. This particularly early one, I think. Although not as early as it could be. I think it still does have the extra weight on the bottom of the coupling there, but it does have the clip-on running board, so it's the early chassis. There's definitely a bit of distortion going on in this model when you look over it, isn't there? So I think it's done quite well to survive the years. I don't think it's had a lot of play time, this particular one. So again, we'll just have a quick look over it. A great hole in the bottom of the moulding there. Again, the wheels are quite free, so I can't remember. I'm sure I've had these in a video in the past at some point, so we'll just give these a light clean and we should have these running quite nicely. We'll just give that a bit of power and we'll go and collect those wagons now. So I think we have those. Let me just step back a bit and see if we can get a slightly different shot as it comes out of the sidings there. There we go. So we're through the sidings. Sorry, through the points, not the sidings. We're out of the sidings and through the points. So I'm just going to move gently over here, and we'll just go back to these switches and just have a quick throw of that one. So I want that one, and it wants to go curved. That always gets me, that one, because it's in the corner of the railway, and the through route for the main line is curved. So maybe I should switch that around. So it might be less confusing to have it wider, so it runs the other way. So make the switch go up for the main route and down for the deviation. So now we're all set to sort of run around the railway. Let's grab the power. And we'll just give that a little bit more. Let's see if we can just follow that around. And we'll just go the once more round, I think, and then we'll change the route a little bit. Makes a lovely little sort of set of rattles on the rails, those wagons. All relatively well behaved. So I've lost track of where I've put down the controller now, so there we go, we've got the controls there. Let's just take a little power off that. See if that'll have enough left in it to get around. That white wagon is beginning to burn out with the bright light coming through the window now. So let's just bring this to a stop. Just after this set of point work here, I think there's a nice sensible place to get it to stop. There we go. So let's just come back around here. So I think we'll send it behind the turntable to start with. So we definitely need the point with the pink dot sorted out. So we'll go with that one. So we want to go straight, and the one with the dark blue one wants to go curved. There we go. So that should just run across the front of the station there and out behind the turntable. So let's just swing back around. Actually, I've got the controls here. I'm forgetting. So we'll just go around the other way. So we'll just pan around the railway. That light is getting quite bright coming through the window now this morning. So let's give that a little power. Going past all that elevated track now. Past the bird's nest. And it's going to branch off just behind those Suburbans. Now you can see some of those spans I've stood on the track there, so I've got those done. So quite nicely behaved. I knew there was something else I should have changed. Let's put the controls down. I just saw that in the corner of my eye. That's me rattling around putting the controller down behind me. So yeah, we're heading for a derailment there. So let me see if I can reach for the points. And we'll straighten those ones. That could have been a bit of a disaster. So let's grab the power again. I'm going to take this opportunity to step over the cabling. We'll see if we can get a different angle here as it begins to move off again. Yeah, not the best place to have stopped that, was it? So it's just the front wheel's just gone at the plastic part, so perhaps that's causing it just to lie a little bit unevenly on the rails there. So let's give that another go. Let's just come back a little. There we go. I think we'll just bring that around one more time, and then we'll try and return it to the sidings. So stepping on some very uneven floorboards there. There's lots of creaking going on. Let's see if we can get a more interesting view of it coming through this set of points this time. Negotiated the diamond. And this is where we stalled a little before, wasn't it? So it's come straight through there this time. So I think what we'll do, we'll just bring that to a stop. And then we're going to spin back around here, and we're going to pop that into a siding and uncouple it, I think. So we want the pink one again. So let me just look over my shoulder here. So we want to go curved with that one. And then we need this one here, so we need to make this one go curved. So no coloured dot on there, I've run out of those. And there's these uncoupling ramps. So actually this one was already in, wasn't it? So, but yeah, I've got these ones here. They've all cleaned up quite nicely. So we'll be able to take advantage of those, although quite short lengths of wagons will be left in there. We'll get some buffers on at the end of there at some point, but there's still quite a bit of sort of climbing over to be doing on here as we begin to play with these sort of elevated parts, which are going to creep round there. Hopefully provide a bit of extra fun. But obviously it's going to mask the view of some of the three rail, but things are going to get in front of things here. Tunnels, other locomotives and rolling stock sitting on the railway. There's always something, but it sort of adds a different view to things. So let's see if we can follow this backwards into the sidings there. I might be standing too far away to sort of anticipate the uncoupling ramp from this distance. We'll give it a go. Yeah, I think I've just overshot the uncoupling ramp there. I'm looking at the camera and I'm trying to judge when to turn the controller from this distance is not the best. Let's go in a little bit closer and let's see if we can roll that backwards now. Is it going to uncouple? There we go. So we'll just pop that one there and we'll just switch another point and we'll just leave it in another line. So we'll switch the yellow one again. So we'll make that one go, sorry, wrong one, I'll reach for the blue one. So we'll go for the yellow one, so we'll make that one go curved. I think we'll just pop it in on that line there. So let's just grab the controls there. I didn't change that one, did I? I think I said I needed to change that one as well. So we'll just make that one go straight this time. And we'll just leave that there. So I think I'll just seal that in. So I think the yellow one will do that. So we'll just make that yellow one go straight again. And then we'll set the main line for through running. There we go. So let's just have a quick look over this Class 31. So I think I've had it on the railway for a while and never really did have a look over it. It's an unboxed one I have. Relatively early, I'll put the dates in the bottom of the screen there. And a number of people have asked if I made modifications to it. The only modification I've made to this is just a change on the centre dummy wheels there, which were tending to cause derailments. Now the later Class 31 I got from Hornby Railways and a Class 37 which has the same bogie have all had their centre wheels on a dummy bogie replaced with flangeless. So I've just had a damaged set of wheels which I took the flanges off. Actually, we'll just have a look at the drivers there. See if we can get some. Is that going to jump for focus? There we go. So there is no extra pickups on this. So let's just pop this on the rails. And we'll see if we can just have a quick charge around with this. There we go. So it's quite a smooth runner. It's not the quietest, but these motors aren't that quiet in the first place. So let's give it a go. It's fairly worn, fairly play worn, as you saw there. It's got some yellowing to it. So let's see if we can get this one to run around the railway. So an initial growl, as the motor spools up. So I have a feeling I have left some points the wrong direction. But we'll stop that and deal with that as we get closer. Yeah, so as the power trails off, you get that vibration, that chatter from the armature as it spins down. So the point with the pink dot, I really could have left it as it was, couldn't I? So let's set that for straight. And then we'll get that around just the once more. So we'll give that some power. just get that one more time around, and then perhaps we'll just finish off with a quick look at that double O train we saw earlier. We'll get it through the passing loop, not the passing loop, the return loop. You can see the decals are fairly worn on the side of this. Yeah, it's a rattly old thing. There we go. So if I just step around here, and step back a little. Grab the controls and we'll just bring that gently to a stop there. So I think that's enough of the triang today. I know the video is sort of running on a little bit now, but I think it's definitely worth having a go with the return loop. Let's see if we can grab focus on that. I've had to draw in a little marker on those to remind me where the center point is. But it does help when you're looking at them. So let's have a look at the loop here. So I'm going to need to come in through number 18. So that's number 18, and we want to make that one curved. And then we want number 16. So that one wants to be straight. Sorry, I'm looking over the top of the camera. So number 16 wants to go straight. And 17 wants to go curved. And then number 14 also wants to go curved. So that one's all the way over there. And we'll leave, I can't remember the number at that point. Let's have a look. Number 15. So we'll have to bring the train around, and ideally we'll stop it and then change number 18 again. So a good plan. So I think I left the points all set correctly for that, but I've left the controller on the far side of the railway. Another excellent planning. I think I said before, there's lots of rolling stock now beginning to lie around. I'm never that keen on having too much out because it sort of limits the options of where you can go with things. So let's sort of swing back around here and we'll see if that'll run out of the station. So there we go. Under those spans. Fingers crossed for no derailments. Quite a heavy load coming around that curve. We've lost a coach, haven't we? So let's see if we can back that up again. I wonder whether we've got that. No, these have been quite well behaved. No, I think I might have to intervene here, so I'm just going to take the opportunity to step over the cabling while we're having a look at this. So let's see if I can encourage this one to couple up. I'm unsure, sorry, focus gone now, whether we're going to stay there. This has been such a well-behaved rake of coaches in the past. So let's bring that round a little bit more. There we go, and then we'll get number 18. So we'll make that one straight. Now ideally, so we need a number 14 straight as well. So that's all the way over there. So we'll give that a little bit of power. And it's all of a sudden it's not wanting to play. So this hasn't gone quite as well as I'd expected. So let's follow that through the station. If I bring it to a stop just behind the engine shed here. There we go. And let's change the route of that. Actually, no, let's turn it around again. I was just going to run it in along the platform there. So let's just attend to the point work here. And let's see if we can just turn that back around and bring it onto that loop. So let's change number 15. So we want to go curved with number 15. So that's the one over there. And 16 wants to go curved. And 17 wants to go straight. There we go. So ideally, let's see if we can do that without losing any coaches. That'll bring it alongside that platform, and that seems like a good place to bring it to stop today. Sorry, I wasn't pointing at the locomotive there. So let's give that some power. So we're holding on to that brake coach at the moment. And alongside the station there. So we'll just bring that to rest there. I'm just going to, whoops, nearly dropped the controller on the floor. So I'm just going to close out the points now while we're here. So we want number 15 to go straight. And number 14 to go straight. So I'm looking down for the switches. Sorry. 14 is straight. 16 straight. Sorry. I'm lost track. 16. There we go. So I don't think anything's going to derail there if I come back around in a moment or two. I'm not necessarily thinking right now, but later in the day when I'm fiddling with these things, I suppose we could just open up number 10 there, and we could take that back down to the station. So let's grab the CoBo again, and we'll stop the video, I think, by returning this to the station. So a little power. Not as smooth as I was expecting. So I've taken the executive's decision to roll out of here again. And then we're going to go through 18. So let's just grab the controls here. So I'm just changing hands on the camera. So let's go with 18 curved, and that should run straight back through where we've just come from. So let's give that a go. So I think the more this is used, the better the track's going to become. There we go. So let's just pop the controller down there. Let's see if we can just follow that around. Through it goes again, behind the tunnel. Out the other side. And I think we'll just finish, I know I keep saying that, we'll just finish by bringing this to the station. But thanks again for watching. Goodbye now.